Hey everybody, Kyle Goeth here from GoatFilmReviews.com and the Goat Film Reviews YouTube channel, and I have my first reaction to the new DreamWorks animation film, The Wild Robot. This movie came out, back in September? I can't believe it's still in theaters for one thing, but I was finally able to check the film out today. I've been missing this one. When it aired, the press screening was the same night as Megalopolis. I really thought I was going to like Megalopolis more. I did not. So I made the wrong choice back in September, but I'm fixing that choice now. This movie stars Lupita Nyong'o as Roz, a rosin robot who ends up on a mysterious island where she's supposed to be there to help complete tasks for human users, and there are no humans on this island. So she searches for a purpose and ends up finding it in raising Bright Bill, a gosling that she comes across with the help of a fox, I think named Fink, that is voiced by Pedro Pascal. This movie has a lot of heart. It has a lot of love to it. It's a very interesting animation style. It reminds me a bit of the Puss in Boots: The Last Wish kind of style. I wouldn't say this is exactly the same or anything like that, but it does remind me in how it's taking those kind of familiar 3D animation techniques in the computer and adding a little bit more of artistic and flourish to it. This one has a bit more pastel kind of coloring to it. It's very... yeah, it just feels like a lived-in world that we haven't quite seen exactly done this way, which I appreciate, because so often, I mean, the one criticism I can always have of Pixar movies is that they do kind of all look like Pixar movies, and the nice thing that Wild Robot stands apart on its own. Yes, it's got some similarities to that Puss in Boots film, but I don't think enough to make you go, oh, they're just reusing that. I thought the voice work was pretty solid in this film. I could not tell if that was Lupita Nyong'o. I was like, I'm pretty sure she's in this movie. But I can't 100% hear it. The only actor that stood out to me when I heard it was Ving Rhames, who voices one of the hawks in the film. And it's not a big character. Oh, and Bill Nighy as well, who voices one of the kind of lead geeses. So I caught a couple of voices, but like those are such rich, talented voice actors, or I guess regular actors who do voice work sometimes, that I didn't really mind that. Lupita Nyong'o really dived into that role where I couldn't hear her in the film. She does great vocal performance. Pedro Pascal as well. I just was like ripping my hair out trying to figure out who was voicing that fox, and it was Pedro Pascal. So they definitely, they didn't make me think, oh, it's that actor, which is a criticism that I've had a lot recently with animated films, is that it's very obviously that actor doing that voice work. I want us to get back to a time of authentic voice actors, but this film does a really good job with the big name stars that they do have. I also felt like the movie had a lot of heart. I didn't think it was going to pull on my heartstrings in the way that it did, but I guess I'm a much more emotional cat parent than I thought. I really connected with the story of Roz taking care of this little pet, this child essentially that is lost in the world, and kind of the difficulties that come with a child and then teenage years and having to keep a secret that's very, very integral to your child's like journey that they've been on, and not being able to give them all the things that they need to be successful in life. I really connected with that. I thought that was a really, really nice emotional storyline, real good gut punch at some key moments that really kept me right here. And so I thought the movie was definitely an emotionally resonant film. One thing I did not care for as much is it did feel like the film had maybe 3 separate plots running all at once, and each one of them was kind of vying for control. Definitely the raising of the young gosling was, I think, the most integral and the most profound one. But there's also elements, there's this rise up of this big winter storm that I felt like kind of, like it was important, but it felt like maybe material that was going to be used in a sequel, and they weren't sure they were getting a sequel, so they jammed it into this movie. It kind of felt like Beetlejuice at times, where we just jammed a lot of plot lines into one film. Same thing too with the company that was trying to get a hold of Roz. It's kind of reintroduced late in the film that this company wants their product back, and again, I just felt like the big plot of the film was the raising of this gosling, and I think once we've kind of like moved past that story and swooped back around to it later on again, that's where the story really is for me. The other stuff felt like it would have been maybe better suited, expounded upon in future sequels. That's how it feels to me. But it wasn't in a case where I was like, it's losing me. It's just that the film seemed like it felt kind of a natural conclusion and then kept going. So, just my thoughts on that. But overall, I did quite enjoy The Wild Robot. I like the use of the title later on in the film. It's really nice. And I like the general uplifting feeling that this film has, which I think, given our current climate in the U.S., we could use a little bit of uplifting. We could use a little bit of that emotional resonance, a little bit of that caring for others, even though we are meant maybe not to, or that we are predisposed not to care. Just that ability to make those choices for ourselves and really care about the people in our lives and the people that even aren't in our lives, for their personal journeys as well. So I think that this is definitely a movie that I hope people get to see, and I'm really glad it's done as well as it has. Yeah, I would be hard-pressed between this film and Inside Out 2 for my favorite animated film of the year. I really enjoyed both of them. Maybe a rewatch will help me clear things up, but for now, I recommend seeing The Wild Robot. And you know what? It was a really nice movie to see in a packed theater. There's a lot of kids in there all having a great time. And like so many of them were so focused on what was happening on screen because of, I think, the unique animation style and I think the relatable themes. The movie is a little heavy at times. It deals occasionally with death and just kind of the true force of nature in some ways, that I was surprised by. But I think that it's hard material that I think can be really important to younger audiences. So definitely check out The Wild Robot and then come on back to this video and leave your comments down below or tweet at me or get a hold of me through social media and let me know your thoughts on the film. But definitely down in the comment section is always welcome. We love to see comments from people who have also checked out the film, whether you liked it, hated it, or somewhere in between. Make sure you like and subscribe. There are 2 free things that you can do that help to support the channel immensely, and you'll never miss new episodes of the show as they drop. You can also check out goatfilmreviews.com for many written reviews. You can find Goat Film Reviews on Facebook. You can follow me personally at Almighty Goatman on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, and Threads. And you can find the Minnesota Film Critics Alliance linked down in this description. You can find other film critics' reviews of popular films, as well as more of my stuff over there as well. Thank you so much for joining me. Go care about somebody, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.